instruction. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakayam Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsham हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये आराध्यो भगवान् व्रजेशतनयस्तद्धाम वृन्दावनम् रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधो वर्गेण या कल्पिता श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणममलं प्रेम पुमर्थो महान् श्रीचैतन्यमहाप्रभोर्मतमिदं तत्रादरानपरः राधाकरावचितपल्लववल्लरीके राधापदाङ्कविलसन् मधुरस्थलीके राधायशोमुखरमत्तखगावलीके राधाविहारविपिने रमतां मनो मे आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावदातो सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरो कमलायताक्षो विश्वम्भरो द्विजवरो युगधर्मपालो वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरो करुणावतारो वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम् Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We welcome you to this new series, new session. Of course, the month of Kartik has ended very nicely. We hope everyone was able to get the most out of this month. And now we are entering into Sri Margashirsha Mas. This is also a very auspicious month, as Shri Krishna himself, Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, Masa Nam Margashirshoham, that of the 12 months present in the calendar, I am, my form is as the form as the Margashirsha Mas. So this month is also very special. It is not different from Krishna. So what a better time to start than this month, this auspicious month. We are going to be discussing from the Nectar of Instruction, Shri Upades Amrita of Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami is one of the principal associates of Srimad Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Rupa Goswami, yes, Srila Rupa Goswami is one of the principal associates of Srimad Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's the leading acharya actually of our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. We are known as the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, but also very specifically we are Rupanuga Vaishnavas. Rupanuga Vaishnavas. What does that mean? Our whole philosophy, our whole understanding of Tattva Siddhanta Leela is under the guidance of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. And Rupa Goswami was such a transformational acharya, such a revolutionary acharya. Just 500 years ago, he appeared, and he was one of the, he wasn't just any acharya. If Srimad Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we say, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anya, that Srimad Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna Milita Tanu. If there's one Tanu, if there's one Swarupa, which is the mix of Radha and Krishna both, that is Srimad Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now imagine that personality who is a personal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we should very clearly know that Rupa Goswami is a very special personality, and it is described in the Gaur Ganodesha Deepika that Srila Rupa Goswami, in the eternal realm of Goloka Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari. That is the eternal form of Rupa Goswami. He's actually a Sakhi. He's actually a Gopi, an eternal associate of Krishna, Radha Krishna, serving Srimati Radharani. So like that, we are very fortunate to be able to come in the disciplic succession in the line of this Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, which has been decorated by the presence of such great acharyas. And Narottam Das Thakur has written, Gaurangera Shangi Gane Nitya Siddha Korimane Shejai Brajendra Shutapas. That हम सबको भगवान के पास जाना है, हम सबको कृष्ण की भक्ति करनी है, लेकिन कैसे? How will we go to Brajendra Suta? How will we go to that Brajendra Nandan, Shyam Sundar Bhagavan Krishna? Then Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Gaurangera Shangi Gane, those devotees who have come in the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who have come as his associates, Gaurangera Shangi Gane Nitya Siddha Korimane, know them to be eternally perfected beings, who have come just for the upliftment. Nana Shastra Vicharane Nipuno Sadharma Samsthapako. सद्धर्म की स्थापना करने के लिए, सद्धर्म का प्रचार करने के लिए, भगवत भक्ति की स्थापना करने के लिए, राधा कृष्ण की प्रेममयी सेवा ब्रज भक्ति स्थापित करने के लिए आचार्य प्रकट हुए. They are not just some beings who have, they came across, Krishna consciousness and then they became perfected. No, these are eternally perfected beings that have come from Goloka Vrindavan to give us Shastra, to give us the proper understanding by which we can attain Vraja Prema Bhakti. In this, in the introduction to this this poster that I sent out about the lectures, the series on Upades Amrita, I wrote that this book is so special. Srila Prabhupada has mercifully translated it for us, given his commentary. This book, Upades Amrita, takes you from the very beginning of spiritual life. Basically, you don't even know what to do. What are the do's? What are the don'ts? Kaise achar hona chahiye? Kaise prachar hona chahiye? Of course, acharan is the greatest prachar. Our own expression or our own acharan, our own practice of our principles is the greatest preaching. So like that, this book, these instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami, facilitated by the translations and commentaries of Srila Prabhupada, will take us from the very basics of spiritual life. Vacho vegam, manasakrodha vegam, jihva vegam, udropastha vegam. Very, controlling the senses, not doing prajalpa, not eating too much, not who to associate with, who to not associate with, eating the right food, following in the footsteps of the acharyas, and then, while following what to do, tannam rupa charitadi, so sukirtananu, very, very specific instructions, very specific instructions about how to lead how to lead our devotional lives, how to make our devotional lives our only lives. Many times we have many lives. We have a certain lifestyle that some people know, and we have a certain temple lifestyle that the temple devotees know. No, our lifestyle should be one and only. There should be no dupliciousness. If we truly want to advance on the path of devotional service, our life should, devotional service in our life should be like salt. Should be like salt. किसी सब्जी में नमक कण कण में होता है. There's in every part of that preparation there is salt. But अभी हम कैसे भक्ति कर रहे हैं कि जैसे bhakti is like coriander on the sabji. Just अच्छे लगता है ऊपर से, when you present it to someone, it looks nice. So it should not be like that. Our devotional service should be like salt in some preparation. It should be there in every part of our life, in every dealing of our life, in every relationship of our life. The center should be bhakti, the center should be Krishna. Yes. Therefore, we have been very fortunate to come across Srila Prabhupada and come across his, this movement, and now we have come across Upades Amrita. And I would request all the devotees to please join this on a weekly basis. We'll do it most only on Sundays, because first we were thinking Saturday, Sunday, but Saturdays somehow or other something else comes up, so it's better to keep it just on Sundays at this time. And we will discuss from this. We'll go verse by verse, line by line, purport by purport. We'll read and we will discuss. So it will greatly benefit us, and it will take us from the basics, like I said, the basics of spiritual life, do's and don'ts, to the topmost attainment of Vraja Prema Bhakti. What is Bhakti? What is Prema? Where is that? Vrindavan, Radha Kunda. Everything will be described in this small book. And if you want, you may also purchase this from the temple. You can pull it up on Vedabis, which we'll be reading from now online as well. You can read it as we go. So yes, please do join, and please do relish this greatly beneficial gift that Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Prabhupada have given us. So I will share my screen now, and we will start from the preface written by Srila Prabhupada about this book. Okay. Okay. Okay, preface, 1 second. Okay, you're able to see? Yes? Someone needs to unmute.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so preface by Srila Prabhupada. We offer obeisances unto the founder Acharya. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaudavani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadharini. Srila Prabhupada says, the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas or Bengali Vaishnavas are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan are direct disciples. Therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoi Be Akuti Kabe Hama Bujavo Se Jugala Piriti. When I am eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benediction of the science of Krishna. The most exalted of all the activities of Lord Krishna are his pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the best of the gopis. Therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis. Sri Rupa, Sanatana, Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva, Gopal Bhatta, Dasa Raghunath. So these are the 6 Goswamis. Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Bhatta Raghunath Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Srila Gopala Bhatta Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. So this book is written by Srila Rupa Goswami, the original Sanskrit text. Sri Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave us this Upades Amrita, the nectar of instruction to follow. So the meaning of Upades Amrita, or let us read, then we will discuss. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left behind him the 8 verses known as the Shikshashtaka, Rupa Goswami gave us Upades Amrita so that we become pure Vaishnavas. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control the mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva Guna, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. This is a key statement by Srila Prabhupada, very key statement. We should write this down or memorize this. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. A follower of the Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis. In Vrindavan, this is the title by which the director of each temple is known. One who wants to become a perfect devotee of Krishna must become a Goswami. Go means senses, Swami means the master. Unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot become a Goswami. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Upadeshamrita, which have been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami has given many other books such as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Vidagdha Madhava, and Lalita Madhava, but Upadeshamrit constitutes the first instructions for neophyte devotees. One should follow these instructions very strictly. Then it will be easier to make one's life successful. Hare Krishna. Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, September 20th, 1975, Vishwarupa Mahotsava, Krishna Balarama Mandir, Ramanariti, Vrindavan, India. So Srila Prabhupada gave this preface as a lecture back in 1975 in Vrindavan. So this preface itself is a matter of discussion, is a series. We can have a series on the discussion of this this preface. But Srila Prabhupada is very, in a very, condensed and very to the point way, Srila Prabhupada has given the importance of following in the footsteps of the Acharyas, and the importance of following the footsteps, especially of Srila Rupa Goswami. So, here it is said that when Narottam Das Thakur is writing this bhajan, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haibe Akuti, until and unless we take shelter of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, until and unless we understand the literature given by the Goswamis, we cannot understand the affairs, loving affairs, the dealings, the mercy, anything related to Radha Krishna, we will not be able to understand. Srila Prabhupada has also said that we worshipping Radha Krishna in the temple, we are still worshipping them as Lakshmi Narayana. Of course, there's no difference between Radha Krishna and Lakshmi Narayana, but it is the difference in mood. Radha Krishna are the abode of sweetness. Lakshmi Narayana are the abode of opulence. Of course, both identical forms of the Supreme Lord. But to approach that sweet form of Radha and Krishna, we must take shelter of the dear devotees of Radha and Krishna, like that. So, Srila Prabhupada here is saying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the science of Krishna. It is described by the Acharyas that Srimad Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give Anarpita Charim Chirat, jo unarpit tha. Srimad Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give that which was never given before. The loving service, loving devotional service to Radha and Krishna, although there were Vaishnava Sampradayas, although there was, even the holy name was there since the start, everything was there, Shastra was there, Bhagavatam was there. But that loving devotional mood of serving Radha Krishna, Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tadham Vrindavanam, Shri Vrindavan Dham में, Shri Vrindavan Dham के भगवान श्री कृष्ण की सेवा, वो अति दुर्लभ चीज जो है वो महाप्रभु देने आए. That very very rare thing, which is very rarely achieved, even by studying all the Shastras, one cannot achieve Radha Krishna. Yes, that is described actually in the Upanishad. It is there that even after the Upanishads describe the opulence of the Lord, the Vishwarup of the Lord, the Karma Kanda sections, after describing everything, the Vedas and the Upanishads, they say neti neti, that Supreme Lord cannot be described. This is the end conclusion of the Vedas. Neti neti. ऐसा नेति नेति करके वो नकार देते हैं कि पूर्ण ब्रह्म, पूर्ण पुरुषोत्तम ब्रह्म जो भगवान है, जो मधुराति मधुर भगवान है, उनको वेद उपनिषद भी स्तुति नहीं कर सकते. They cannot glorify that Supreme Lord who is so glorious, who is so sweet. So simply by mechanical study of the Shastra, one cannot understand Radha Krishna. And Radha Krishna is the ultimate goal of life. So without consulting the real process that we can attain, without consulting the real process, we will not attain the real goal of life, loving service to Radha and Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that Jiva Krishna Das e Vishwas Kodle to ar dukha nai. दुख की अनुपस्थिति कब होगी? जब जीव ये जान लेगा कि वो भगवान श्याम सुंदर का दास है. Dukkha or misery will only disappear when the jiva realizes that I am an eternal servant of Bhagavan Shyam Sundar, Bhagavan Krishna. Only then. Because only then will one realize that I am a soul. Only then will one realize that I have to serve. Only then will one realize that now I have to depend on Krishna. I have the whole concept of my whole independence is what is causing my misery. So if we do want to achieve such a state in our lives, and not just after our lives, this Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya and this Vaishnava Siddhanta, this Bhakti Yoga, this process of Bhakti Yoga is not to become perfect after we die. This is not to become liberated after we die. It is not to become happy after you die. No, dear devotees. This Upadesh Amrita, by following this Upadesha of the Goswamis, of the Acharyas, then what will one receive? Nectar, Amrita in this life. Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi. We have to serve as a sadhaka, but we also have to become perfect as a sadhaka in this lifetime. Before we die, we have to become perfectly peaceful, perfectly liberated, perfectly situated in the service of Radha and Krishna. That is the topmost goal. It is not something you will achieve after you die. It's something we have to achieve while we live this life, while we practice, while we go through our everyday, hustles. We have to become perfect in this life. And it is possible. It is possible how? It is possible by taking shelter of the instructions of the Goswamis, of the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And to follow Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one must follow the Goswamis. Therefore, this Shastra that we are going to, actually, Shastra is not only like Vedas, Upanishad and Puranas. This is not only Shastra. Srila Jiva Goswami describes that any book, any Shastra, any teaching that is in line with the teachings of the Bhagavatam, that it can be regarded as Bhagavata Shastra. That is, can be regarded as Bhagavatam itself. शिव जीव गोस्वामी has said this. ये जो भागवत सम्मत शास्त्र हैं, वो भी शास्त्र ही हैं. उनको भी शास्त्र जितना ही आदर और प्रणाम स्वीकार्य है उनको, because they are Bhagavad Sammata Shastra. They are in line with the teachings, in the mood, in the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, the Shastra of the Acharyas, the books of the Goswamis especially, who are eternal associates of Shri Shri Radha Krishna, they are Shastra, Upadesh Amrita. And such a beautiful name, even it's given. It is the nectar of instruction. This is the name Srila Prabhupada translated and gave as the name of the book which he published with his commentaries and translations. So originally Rupa Goswami wrote it as Upadesha Amrita. Srila Prabhupada gave the translation, the nectar of instruction. Such a beautiful, think about it. Instruction in this material world, sometimes it is looked down upon, that someone is instructing you or someone is becoming, it kind of gives a little dictator type of mood, instruction. But dear devotees, in spiritual life, the way to advancement and the way to nectar is actually instruction. When we follow the instructions of the acharyas, when we follow the instructions of Guru, then we experience real nectar in our lives. And by studying Upadeshamrita, by guiding, like Srila Prabhupada is saying, Rupa Goswami being the leader of the Goswamis, he has given us this to guide our activities. We have many doubts in spiritual life. What should I do? What should I not do? What is the highest attainment? Which form of the Lord is the best? Or which is the original form of the Lord? How can I serve the Lord? What are the do's and don'ts? And what is the topmost attainment? All these questions, Srila Rupa Goswami has answered. It is for us to take benefit. It is for us to take benefit, and it is for us to perfect our lives with this Upadesh Amrita, with this nectar which has come in the form of instructions by Srila Rupa Goswami. Yes. And we know that Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the only written thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave was the Shikshashtakam, Cheto Darapanam Arjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, all the way to Ashlishavapadaratam Vinashtamam. And Mahaprabhu, very wonderfully in a compact form, he has given from Shraddha to Prem this whole process in the Shikshashtakam. But we can see that the Goswamis elaborated just this on this one Shikshashtakam of Mahaprabhu. The Goswamis gave so many literatures. Why? Why were they able to give? Why were they able to understand the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? In our Mangalacharan we say, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. When will that Rupa Goswami give me shelter? Who? Which Rupa Goswami? Shri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. That Rupa Goswami who, understanding the Manobhishta, the mood, the mind, the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and who established that within this world, Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. So that Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami is such a personality who understood the deep inner mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why we say Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. Only he was able to understand what is the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Rupa Goswami has given us so many literatures, like Srila Prabhupada mentions towards the end of this preface, Lalita Madhav, Vidagdha Madhav, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Of course, in our movement, Srila Prabhupada has translated Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as the nectar of devotion, and we have Upadeshamrita as the nectar of instruction. And recently, many devotees, Bhanu Swami Maharaj, and the many devotees also, Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu, they have translated many of the other books of the Acharyas as well, which when we become advanced to that stage, we may be able to read. But for now, we have to focus on this. Like Srila Prabhupada has said on this, in this preface, that first for the neophyte devotees, to begin spiritual life, to nurture your spiritual life, first is Upadeshamrita. So we have to scrutinizingly study this book, and I encourage all the devotees, I really seriously encourage all of you to please think of some questions as we go. We should have at least, questions means you are thinking critically. If there's no questions, it is a 0.5% chance that you are self-realized, and then the rest 99.5% is that you were half sleeping. So just to check myself and to check yourself, think of some questions that you may have while we go through this nectar of instruction. Let's go to the second half of this purport by Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Srila Goswami, as we already discussed, was the leader of the Goswamis, and he wrote this nectar of instruction. So we become pure Vaishnavas, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada's expectations from us are not to become good people. The Acharyas, the Lord's expectations from us, Srimad Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's expectations from us is not to become simply good people. Yes, good people we have to become. It's not just to simply become good people. No. We have to become pure devotees of Krishna. Can you still see the screen? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Somehow something has happened for me. Okay. Okay. Yes, so we have to become pure Vaishnavas. That is Srila Prabhupada's desire. Because like we already discussed, unless we see ourselves as a servant of Krishna, Jiva Krishna Das, e Vishwas Korle to ar dukha nahi. And very famous bhajan most of us must have heard. Vaishnava jana to tene kahiye je pida parai jane re. वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने. वैष्णव कौन है? वैष्णव वो है जो अपनी भक्ति के माध्यम से भगवान की सेवा करके उनका हृदय इतना गदगद हो जाता है कि पीड़ पराई जाने. What is preaching, dear devotees? Preaching is the softening of the heart and feeling compassion for others. That is preaching. Preaching is not just reading a book and giving a class. That is superficial preaching. Real preaching is filling your glass so much that a glass se pani bahar aa raha hai. That is preaching. Your heart becomes so soft. Your heart becomes so compassionate that by the mercy of the Lord, I have become benefited. By the mercy of the Lord, by the mercy of the Acharyas, my heart has become cleansed. I have become blissful. Now I am no longer miserable. Now I am happy. Satchidananda Rupaya. We will all become Satchidananda Rupa one day if we continue on this path. Satchit Ananda. Ananda. Yes, devotional life is not boring. It is not meant to be boring. One Maharaj was saying that if you're not happy in devotional service, that means you are doing something wrong. Because the direct result of devotional service is happiness, is ananda, not even happiness, it's bliss, transcendental bliss. So that is our goal. Our goal is to become pure devotees, completely cleanse our hearts from this contamination, completely cleanse our hearts from desires. It is not, I've said this millions of times, it is not the fulfillment of desire that satisfies us. It is the absence of desire that satisfies us. Think about it. So when we desire something, or when we are so we're disturbed by something, it is not that once we fulfill that desire, it is satisfying us. No, it is because that desire is no longer there, so we are satisfied. That is the unfortunate situation of ours. So we must become pure Vaishnavas. That is the point. By going through Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita, by reading these teachings, scrutinizingly discussing these teachings, by applying these teachings in our lives. And dear devotees, this is one of my favorite books, personally speaking. I've read this 2-3 times. I've also read this as a part of Bhakti Shastri. It is nectar. It's pure nectar. If you really read it, and Rupa Goswami and Srila Prabhupada, through his purports, they have made it very easy for us to understand the do's and don'ts of spiritual life, how to become perfect in our spiritual lives, very, very nicely. Yes, so therefore, with the aspiration of becoming pure devotees, with the aspiration of becoming a follower of pure devotees, we will take shelter of this Upadeshamrita Grantha. Yes. So next, Srila Prabhupada mentions, this is where the Upadeshamrita starts. One's first duty is to control the mind and senses. We will see when we go to the first verse, Vacho Vegam, Manasaha Krodha Vegam, everything, and we will discuss that when we get there. But controlling the urges of the mind and senses, how we can do that, what things we can apply, those instructions will be given in the further verses, what instructions one can apply in one's life to control. And when one does control, then what qualification one receives, everything will be said. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. For a sincere and serious student of Krishna consciousness, everything is revealed in due time. Yes, dear devotees, again, for a sincere and serious student of Krishna consciousness, everything is revealed in due course of time. Revealed. This process is of revelation. Sometimes we become so, caught up. We are like, that, oh, I need the answer to this, I need the answer to this is confusing. Sanshayatma Vinashyati. We basically get to this platform. We are Sanshayatma, and one day it will be Vinashyati. But everything in this process of Krishna consciousness is a process of revelation. It is revealed within the heart. It is revealed within the mind. And we should wait for that revelation. We should not become overly, of course we have questions. We must associate with devotees. We must ask questions, get our answers. But you must also realize that it is a process of revelation. That you even if you know the answer to a question, you won't be able to digest it unless it is revealed in the heart. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita. Acharyas have said this already. That जो दिव्य ज्ञान है वो हृदय में प्रकाशित होता है. ऐसा नहीं आप दिव्य ज्ञान खा सकते हो, या आप दिव्य ज्ञान पढ़ सकते हो, या आप दिव्य ज्ञान कोई लोग बोल रहे हैं आप वहाँ पे बैठ गए हो सिर्फ मैकेनिकली सुन रहे हो, उससे नहीं होगा. और हृदय में जब प्रकाशित होगा तब then you will realize when the spiritual knowledge, when the transcendental knowledge is revealed within the heart, then it is actually revealed knowledge. Then it is actually spiritual knowledge. So this is a symptom. This is a symptom of spiritual knowledge, that it is revealed in the heart. And what makes it easier Srila Prabhupada says one must promote oneself to the platform of goodness. By following these instructions of Rupa Goswami, one will very naturally, very easily, by applying also these instructions of Rupa Goswami, one will come to the platform of goodness, Sattva Guna, and then eventually to the platform of Vishuddha Sattva, transcendental Sattva, transcendental goodness. And this is the key statement. As I was reading, I already mentioned this statement. If you get nothing out of this preface, which you should get a lot out of this preface, but if you get nothing, then please take this statement and take it home today. Srila Prabhupada says, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Krishna Bhavanamrit mein unnati ek bhakt ke, what is attitude in Hindi? The mood, or the mood of a devotee. एक भक्त के आचरण पे depend करता है. Yes. We see many devotees, maybe in this Krishna consciousness movement. We are not anyone to comment, but this is reality. Many years, and they may be, we may refer to them as senior devotees. They are definitely senior, that they are even doing devotional service for so many years. And we respect them, but we may see, or they may also analyze in their own lives, that they are not advancing. They're not advancing. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada says, within 11 to 12 years of serious practice of Krishna consciousness, one should begin the loving, spontaneous devotional service to Krishna, Raga Nuga Bhakti. One must at least be interested in that. And we see it is very difficult. It's very difficult. We are still struggling with our chanting 5 years, 6 years, 10 years down the line. What to speak of spontaneous devotional service, natural love for Krishna in a specific mood. Very difficult. But what does that all depend on? It depends, Krishna consciousness, advancement, everything depends on the attitude of the follower. If we are going to just drag our spiritual lives, if we are just going to do it for the sake of doing it, do it for the sake of showing others, we're not going to benefit. We're not going to advance. We will be 70 years old today, eventually, let's say, we'll be 7 years old, we'll be sitting, and then you will analyze, what did I do with my life? What did I do with my spiritual life? Yes. We have to advance, dear devotees. We should not remain neophytes. Indra Prabhu used to very emphatically say, we should not remain neophytes. We are neophytes, but we should not remain there. We have to advance. And by the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami in this Upades Amrita, if we follow those instructions sincerely and seriously and avoid the things he's telling us to avoid, do the things he's telling us to do in our spiritual lives, our attitude will be purified. We will attain Sattva Guna, like Prabhupada is saying, and we will attain devotional service to the Lord. Our mind will be at the lotus feet of Krishna, Sabai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayoho, like that. So, our attitude must be purified in devotional service. Attitude is all that matters. If you are, if someone is even new to Krishna consciousness, but they are utsahan, they have enthusiasm, these are verses, these are words from the verses that are to come in this book. Utsahan, nishchayat, dhairyat, enthusiasm, determination, patience. If one has all these qualities while trying to achieve devotional service, while engaging in devotional service, one's attitude will be very nice and very, what do you call? What is that word? Very good, or very, I lost my English words. It'll be very favorable for Krishna consciousness. It'll be very favorable for advancement in Krishna consciousness. Yes. Because our advancement ultimately depends on our attitude. All of us have the same Hare Krishna Mahamantra. All of us have the same Srimad Bhagavatam, the same Srila Prabhupada books, the same temple, okay? The same Srila Prabhupada, the same Radha Krishna, the same Gaur Nitai. We have the same things. We have the same, externally we have the same things. But why are some of us advancing at a very fast rate and some of us are not advancing? That's a question that must be asked. That's a valid question. Why is everyone not advancing? Even though we may be first initiated, even though we must be second initiated, one may become a sannyasi, one may become a guru. Still, one may not have Vraja Prema Raganuga Bhakti. It's possible. Because advancement ultimately depends on the attitude of the follower. If we are hungry for it, if we are greedy for it, we will get it. Yes. If you really want it, dear devotees, you will get it. If you really want bhakti, if you really want pure devotional service, you will get it. And if you want to be cheated, you will be cheated. Krishna fulfills everyone's desires very, very nicely. If our attitude is not favorable for advancement in Krishna consciousness, we are cheating ourselves. If we still, after receiving so many instructions, still after receiving so much association, still after reading so much, chanting so much, if our heart does not desire to attain the lotus feet of Krishna, we are cheating ourselves. We are cheating ourselves. And it is if we've cheated ourselves till this moment, this second, all of us, including me, let us rise now. Let us advance from this point onwards. And if we do that, then everything we've done in the past ultimately doesn't matter. Yes. If you advance from this point on, the greatest atonement for anything we do, the greatest atonement to advance in your devotional service is bhakti itself. Bhakti comes from bhakti. Taste in chanting comes from taste in chanting. Comes from chanting. You will not. There's nothing external we can do to make our attitude better. No, it is. We have to do that process unwillingly, willingly, somehow or other. We have to engage in that process, follow these instructions. Then it'll become natural for us. It will become natural, and we will be purified. We will be in bliss, transcendental bliss. And we already read that Srila Prabhupada expects all of us. Srila Prabhupada is hoping that all of us will take benefit from these instructions, this book, and we will become pure devotees. And firstly, to become a pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada here is saying, first, he expects all of us, whether one is a brahmachari, whether one is a grihastha, regardless, one must become a Goswami. Goswami. This is the expectation of Srila Prabhupada. All of us must become Goswamis. And the meaning is given also. Go means senses, Swami means the master. Yes, we must tolerate, control the urges of the senses and the mind. Yes, and to achieve the highest success in life, first we become a Goswami, we control our mind and senses, and then we become a pure devotee of Krishna. This is step one. This is step one. And like I said, it's not something that you have to do externally. If we engage in these instructions, if we follow these instructions, if we engage in bhakti, very easily it is like the train is going on a different track, and then you change that track. That's it. You don't have to, take the train off the track, then onto another track. That's not how we do it, right? Practically speaking, if the train is going on the wrong track, there's this switch thing, right? You do that, and then the train goes on the right track. You don't have to stop the train. You don't have to make a new train. No, it's the same train. It's the same passenger in the train. The track has changed. Yes, the track has changed. Like that, with this nectar of the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami, we must change the track of our lives. Change the track of our lives. If to this point we have not done anything, if to this point we've slacked off in our bhakti, in waking up early, in chanting, let us all together, I'm not just giving lectures just to assert my superiority, I'm giving this to tell myself as well. From this point onwards, let's become serious. Let's become serious. Because look, the acharyas are expecting all of us. They're not just saying this is for the brahmanas, they're not just saying this is for the Indians, they're not just saying this is for the Vaishnavas. This is for every single devotee who wants to, advance. Because we will all, by following these instructions, become Goswamis, and then we'll all become pure Vaishnavas. It's for all of us. Yes. It's not, sometimes we think that, those devotees, they're already practicing, it's for them, these instructions, they're wearing dhoti kurta, I'm just wearing pants. Sometimes we see that, of course, yes, dhoti kurta is very nice, but we can also be there, dear devotees. We should not, segregate like this, and we should see ourselves as a part of Krishna's family. We should not see ourselves external to, these are all like different from me. No, we have to become one of them. All of us have to become Goswamis. All of us have to become pure devotees. That is the expectation. And even if one, like I said, with thousands of initiations or thousands of reading of books, thousands of hours of books, reading of books, whatever, one cannot assert one's purity or one's superiority in Krishna consciousness, because it all matters on one's attitude. A new devotee, if a new devotee has, a very favorable attitude for Krishna consciousness, they will advance very quickly. And we can all advance quickly. We can all become pure devotees in this one lifetime. This is the special blessing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, special arrangement of Srila Prabhupada, who has given all of us an equal opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead in this one lifetime. All depends on our seriousness and sincerity, which will be reflected in our attitude as a follower of this Krishna consciousness movement. Yes. I don't want to start this first verse today. Let's just finish off this preface, and then I would like some questions. Otherwise, I will ask some questions. Okay. One should follow these instructions very strictly. Then it will be easier to make one's life successful. Such a beautiful way to put it. Srila Prabhupada says, sitting in Vrindavan, sitting in the Krishna Balaram Mandir, Srila Prabhupada says one should follow these instructions very strictly. Very strictly. Our test in Krishna consciousness is not on the days we feel like waking up. It's not on the days we feel like chanting. It's not on the days we feel like reading. It's the days we don't feel like doing anything and we still do it. That's the day Krishna notices. Like specifically notices. Of course, Krishna is there as Paramatma, he's witnessing all activities. Upadishtanumantacham. But if we follow them strictly means what? With sincerity, with seriousness. If I have to wake up early, I have to wake up early every day. It's a lesson for all of us, especially myself. If we have to chant 16 rounds every day, I have to chant 16 rounds every day. I like it or not. This is our strictness. This is our sincerity that Krishna sees, the Acharyas see. Srila Prabhupada says if we become, such fixed up devotees, if we follow these instructions of Rupa Goswami that we will get to over these weeks of discussion, then it will be easier to make our lives successful. Easier. The path of bhakti is easier for the simple. It's easy for the simple-hearted devotees, and is very difficult for the crooked and duplicitous. If you're simple-hearted, if you can, even if we are weak, there's one thing to be duplicitous and one thing to be weak. This is called as hridaya daurbalya, or weakness of the heart. We might have some weaknesses. We are attracted to certain things. We are, affected by certain things. But after all that, internally, if we are simple, if we can pray to, Krishna, if we can pray to Guru and we can pray to Krishna, expressing our weaknesses, asking for strength, begging for strength, that simplicity is what wins the heart of Krishna. And if we are serious in our practice, then regardless of our weaknesses, we will be able to make our life successful very easily. Very easily. The mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this age of Kali, dear devotees, has made it so much easier than it actually was to attain perfection. And not just any perfection. We can see the majority of Hinduism is established on this one fact that koi Brahma Jyoti hai aur usme jaake milna hai. Not even Hinduism, like any of these Eastern religions, they are very impersonal. No relation with the Lord. It is just, I'm using the Lord for my own benefit kind of thing, right? But after that, the next level is, okay, person, I know, Krishna is a person or Vishnu is a person, I have to serve. Second thing is service. Now, there are so many devotees, they are serving Lord Ramachandra, they're serving Lakshmi Narayan, and they're serving Rukmini, Vitthal Rukmini. So many forms of the Lord, all equal. I'm not differentiating between any forms of the Lord, but they all attain Vaikuntha, and they serve mostly the Lord in dasya, in servitorship, in awe, in reverence. That you are my Lord, you are my dasya. Basically, the perfected form is as dasya. Of course, we are all first. We have to serve the Lord in dasya, but Srimad Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully to give the highest thing of Radha Krishna Seva. You are not only worshipping that Supreme Lord, who is the Supreme Lord, you are worshipping that Supreme Lord who is walking barefoot in the land of Vrindavan और गाय चरा रहे हैं, गोपियों के संग खेल रहे हैं, ग्वालों के संग खेल रहे हैं, यमुना में नहा रहे हैं. That Lord, that sweet Lord, Shyam Sundar Bhagavan Krishna. It is very rare to perform devotional service to Krishna. Life after life, one can do sadhana. This is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Narad Muni tells Dhruva Maharaj that so many munis and rishis, they've been doing this, trying to attain perfection for births and births, and they have not attained perfection. They've lacked somewhere or other. Or even after so many years, so many births, they have attained perfection. So you 5-year-old child, Dhruva Maharaj, how do you expect to gain darshan of the Lord in this lifetime? And Dhruva Maharaj did attain darshan and kripa of Shri Bhagavan, not in this lifetime. He attained it in 6 months, dear devotees, 6 months. And Srila Prabhupada, in those purports, he very emphatically and very specifically points out to these key words that Dhruva Maharaj is the epitome, is the example of what? Seriousness and sincerity. Seriousness and sincerity. And that aligns with this, that advancement in our Krishna consciousness depends on our attitude. So if we would like to make our lives successful, let us take shelter of Srila Prabhupada, and through Srila Prabhupada, take shelter of Srila Rupa Goswami and his instructions in the Upadesh Amrita. And through these series, let us all somehow or other advance from the stage we are in. If we are just beginning our spiritual lives, let us become a little serious. Let us become fixed up. Let us fix some rounds to do every day. Let us wake up early every day. If we're already practicing our devotional life, then let us advance. If we are, it's like if we are reading Bhagavad Gita now, we must continue to read Bhagavad Gita and appreciate Bhagavad Gita, and then read Srimad Bhagavatam. Like that. So whichever stage of devotional life we are in, we must advance from there, dear devotees. Because Indra Prabhu says, like I already quoted, let us not remain neophytes. We have to advance. We have to get Krishna in this lifetime. We have to see Krishna in this lifetime. We have to associate with Krishna in this lifetime. And we have to perfect our lives, become blissful, away from misery, away from all this, material contaminations, which is really not giving us happiness, but we are in the illusion it is. So let us make an endeavor by at least joining these classes. Let's have a discussion, and I would request if more devotees can turn their cameras on. It feels like an actual class, an actual discussion, actual sadhu sangha. So yes, let us. I encourage all of you to join every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. With some questions, if possible. So, anyone has any questions, we can take some questions. Hare Krishna. Yes, you may read the comments. In the IYF community, we meet every morning online at the same link and conduct a morning program at 5 a.m. MST that involves reciting the Aratis, and we chant together. So if someone would like to streamline their morning program, their devotional life, it's a very nice program led by Mini Mataji, 5 a.m. every day. The devotees come on, hopefully devotees come on Google Meet, and then they do association every morning. So if you would like to join, you may join that also. If anyone has any questions, we can take. Otherwise, we're good to go. We'll start from verse 1 next Sunday. Today we did the preface. Okay? And some verses may take 2 classes also, because some of the purports are very long. Okay, so no questions. Great. Jai. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Pada ki jai. Gaur
Hare
Premanand.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hari Hari Bol. Yes,
I
Mataji.
have one question. How we can join that morning program? Where shall I get the link?
This same link.
Okay.
Yeah.